What's up, everybody? What's going on? It's Thursday, late afternoon. I guess I'll be live tweeting some SmackDown tonight, but I'm not really into SmackDown. It'll probably bore me, and I'll probably turn the channel to football. But maybe I'll stay and tweet the entire SmackDown because we're 3 nights from Survivor Series. But this isn't what I just said isn't about what this video is about. What this video is about is TNA Wrestling. They have signed a new television deal. I guess you could call it cable TV deal, whatever. They're also on satellite television. So TNA has signed a new TV deal with the network. It's called Pop TV. I had no fucking clue what Pop TV was before I heard about TNA going to them. And this news came out today that TNA Wrestling has signed a new TV deal with Pop TV, and they will debut on January 5th. I believe it's the 5th. January 5th. 2016 on a Tuesday night with a live 2-hour broadcast on Pop TV. Again, I didn't know what Pop TV was. I didn't even know if I got the channel. I guess it was a former TV Guide channel. And they are seen in way more many homes than Destination America was. So I guess that's a good thing for TNA. Because I believe Pop TV is in 75 million homes. And Destination America, I think was in 50 million homes or something like that. I think 50 million. Anyways, Pop TV still has less viewers than Spike TV did. Because Spike, I believe, has 90 million homes. But anyways, Pop TV has 75 million. That's good for TNA if people start watching it and more people get Pop TV, then that is a good thing for TNA. So I just want to start off by saying I am very happy for TNA. I'm happy they got a new TV deal. I don't want to see them go out of business because all their hard-working men and women in that company, all the wrestlers and all the knockouts, do not deserve to be out of work and lose their job because of the dumb business decisions that TNA and Dixie Carter have made over the years. So none of the wrestlers or knockouts, none of them, I don't want to see any of them out of work. They don't deserve that. Just because of the stupid ass shit that TNA has done with running their company the way they have ran it. Now they were on Destination America for not even 1 year. I believe they'll be thrown off, or they're leaving Destination America at the end of December. I don't know when their last show will be on Destination America, probably before January. Is it going to be television that was taped from July of 2015? Or is it going to still be showing July TV tapings in December? I don't know, but are they going to still be showing the World Title Series in the whole month of December? I have no clue, and I don't really care. Because the entire World Title Series, the entire thing has been a fucking joke. And I was a big TNA fan. Going from 2000, I have supported them from 2002 until about probably late September. Late September of this year, I have watched TNA just about every single week. I have never missed an Impact or a Impact on Destination America until recently, because in October, in late September, and most of the entire month of November so far. I could not take it. I could not watch TNA any longer. It was too hard for me to watch them. As a fan, I had to take a stand and quit watching TNA on Wednesday nights on Destination America, because the show to me just felt... I mean, first off, the World Title Series and all their shows in October, November, and probably starting in not late September, but probably most of September and August. All their damn shows were taped back in July. The show they put on last night was taped in July. Every time I watched TNA in late September, I kept thinking, I couldn't get that out of my head, that these shows are from July. They're old as hell. And I understand that TNA cannot run weekly live wrestling shows because it costs too much money, and they just can't do that. It wouldn't be good for their business. I understand that. I would watch a wrestling show if it was 2 months old. But after the 2 months, the wrestling company better start taping new shows to put on. And they haven't. TNA has been running this World Title Series and their July tapings. They have been showing them into October and November. And they'll probably show them into December. I can't get over that they're still showing shows from July. And last night they still had a show with James Storm in it. The Cowboy James Storm was still in a fucking TNA wrestling show. And I understand that he was there. And I guess he was under contract back in July in TNA. So TNA did nothing wrong, really, by using him. But then again, the creative team, whoever it is, whoever decided to do the World Title Series to crown a new TNA World Champion, why in the fuck did you put James Storm in it? When you knew you didn't have him sign a new contract. TNA knew James Storm did not sign a new contract, and I guess they believed he wouldn't leave. And they thought that James Storm would never leave TNA, so they just booked him in the World Title Series. Just dumb ass motherfucking people in TNA booked not just James Storm when he didn't no longer had a contract, and into, I guess, late July and August and September, I guess TNA sent James Storm a contract. After TNA heard, James Storm went to visit NXT backstage at what was the name of the show? NXT TakeOver Respect. James Storm was backstage as a guest, and then he was talking, I guess, to Triple H about signing a WWE contract to be in an NXT or to be on the main roster. Whatever, same thing. So they found out James Storm was backstage at TakeOver Respect, and then TNA, I'm sure, got nervous and upset that they could possibly lose a Cowboy James Storm, a TNA original that has been there since 2002 and probably was on the first ever TNA pay-per-view. So he was in TNA a very long time, for about 12 years. Or maybe longer. I think 12 years. Almost 13 years going on. So I guess TNA offered James Storm a contract after they heard he was backstage at NXT TakeOver Respect. They offered him a contract and offered him more money to come back to TNA and sign it. Well, James Storm obviously did not sign it because he's done with TNA. He doesn't want to be back in TNA, and I don't blame him. Why the fuck would he go back? He has done it all, and TNA has done everything there is to fucking do in that company. James Storm needs to move on, and he has moved on. And he has moved on to the big time, to the major leagues, to WWE and NXT. And I'm not sure if James Storm has signed a WWE contract yet. There has been rumors on the internet that he has not signed a WWE contract yet, but I'm sure he will. Because I don't see why on earth James Storm would decide to go back to TNA, because they're not in good shape even though they signed a new TV deal. I don't care. My opinion, TNA is still not in good shape. First off, they don't have enough talent. And I understand they got a new TV deal, good for them. I'm happy about that. As I said, I don't want any wrestler or knockout in TNA to be out of work, because if TNA did not sign a contract to get on a new television network in the United States, if they wouldn't have done that for months and months and months, that would have been very, very bad. If they went to sign a new television contract to be on TV in January, because then they would have been off TV for months, and people would have basically forgot they existed in the United States. And then it would have been super hard for TNA to come back, let's say in April, and show up in April of 2016 and just pop up in April and get on a television network. Nobody probably would have watched, because they would have thought TNA went out of business because they weren't on cable TV anywhere to be seen. So, James Storm, there's no way he's going back to TNA. I'm sure he'll sign that WWE contract, and he deserves a WWE run. He did a lot in TNA. He was probably a locker room leader in TNA for the past 5 years. He's been there a long time. He was a TNA original, but he has moved on, and TNA, I guess, has moved on also. But, I mean, seeing James Storm last night on TNA Wrestling, the minute I turned it on, and I didn't watch it, and maybe some will call me a hypocrite for not watching and supporting TNA. And I still support them. I'm just not watching any of their taped shows from July, because I just can't. It's too hard to watch. The World Title Series does not interest me. Their shows that were taped in July do not fucking interest me. They just don't. It's too hard to watch. So I choose, and I can choose anything I want to choose as a wrestling fan. I choose not to watch TNA until January 5th of 2016. That's when I'll start watching again. And hopefully things will get better on the creative end of things, because I don't enjoy the World Title Series, and you were a bunch of idiots to put James Storm and Kenny King in the World Title Series because you didn't know if they were going to sign your contracts to stay in TNA. So, the number one, that right there just makes TNA look like a bunch of fucking fools. And basically, whoever was negotiating or wanting to get James Storm and Kenny King to sign their contracts, they were an idiot because they didn't get their contract signed, and they let them leave while booking them in the World Title Series and putting them in all those matches back in July that you taped for television in October, November, and probably December. So that was two huge mistakes right there. Seeing James Storm on TNA last night for the 1 minute I put it on, I saw him against, I believe it's Eric Young. And I just thought, what? I went like this. I thought, what in the fuck? there's James Storm again on TNA when he's not there. And every wrestling fan on the planet knows he is not there, that he's in NXT. Even though he hasn't been on NXT television in probably over a month. But still, he debuted in NXT and he showed up. So, I'm sure they got a contract ready. And James Storm and his lawyers or whoever, his agent, are looking over it. And he'll probably sign it before January. To be in the WWE. To be under contract. Just, I mean, seeing James Storm, as I said, on TNA just... I mean, it is unbelievable that TNA was that stupid back in July to put James Storm and Kenny King in the World Title Series when they're not there anymore and they're in different companies. James Storm is not in TNA anymore. Hopefully people out there watching this already know that. And Kenny King showed up on a ROH pay-per-view back in, I think, September or early October maybe. The last Ring of Honor pay-per-view, I forget the name of it. I think it was All-Star Extravaganza. I think that was the name of the last pay-per-view. Or maybe it's called Best in the World. I'm not sure. Anyways, I did do a predictions and review on the last Ring of Honor pay-per-view you can find on my channel. But I can't remember the name of it right now. So Kenny King did show up on the last ROH pay-per-view and teamed up with his former tag team partner. And they are the team of the All Night Express. So Kenny King is gone. I don't expect Kenny King to show up on TNA in January because why would he? He would have to be stupid to come back. And James Storm would have to be stupid to not sign his WWE contract and go back to TNA. Because he's been there long enough and he's done all he could do to try to help TNA. And, well, I'm sure he got fed up. And good for him for leaving because he deserves to make more money and be on a bigger stage and be seen by more people because James Storm is a hell of a wrestler, hell of a character. He's got a great character. Sorry about your damn luck. He's got a great character. As I said, he's a great wrestler. He deserves to be in the WWE and become more famous and make more money for his family because he's busted his ass in TNA for 12 years. And if I was him, I'd be pretty angry that TNA is no longer the number 2 wrestling company in the world because they're not. Number 2 under the WWE, you could even argue that NXT is number 1 and WWE is number 2 to you. Or you could say NXT is number 1 to you and Ring of Honor is number 2. Or maybe New Japan Pro Wrestling's number 2 or number 1 to you. I don't know. But to me, you could argue that WWE and NXT are basically tied as the number 1 company in the world. And Ring of Honor, to me, Ring of Honor would be number 2 or 3 in the world. Right under WWE and NXT. So, basically this video, all I want to say and report, for anybody that doesn't know that's watching this, I want to report that TNA has signed a new television deal with Pop TV. As I said, I did check on my DirecTV last night if I even get Pop TV. And I do get it. I had no clue I got it because I've never watched it before. And when I put it on last night, they had some old movie on from the 80s with Kurt Russell in it. So there. I guess they show old movies basically from the 80s and probably 90s. And then when I put on Pop TV today to just make sure that I get it so I can watch TNA on January 5th, when I put on Pop TV today, they had Dawson's Creek on. And it was like a Dawson's Creek marathon. They kept showing a whole bunch of Dawson's Creek over and over. So I guess they show Dawson's Creek in old movies. Good for them. Good for TNA that they got a new TV deal and they will continue to be on TV in 2016. Hopefully their contract with Pop TV goes for 2 or 3 years so TNA can survive and still be around for 2 more years, because if they did not sign a contract with Pop TV or WGN, WGN was the other network that they were negotiating with, but they decided to go with Pop TV. If they did not sign a new TV deal to be on TV in January, it wouldn't have been good at all for their business. They probably would have went under. I mean, I don't see how TNA would survive with no TV deal in the United States. Yes, they have overseas deals, but that's not enough, in my opinion, to stay in business and make enough money. And what I was happy to hear and read today on a website is, it was rumored yesterday, I read, that TNA was going to pay if they sign with Pop TV or even WGN. It was rumored that TNA was going to pay to put their Impact Wrestling show on every week. They were going to pay the Pop TV network to put their show on. That absolutely would have been awful for TNA and would have been a death wish for their company, because you can't afford to pay a network every single fucking week when you're not making any money, when you're not making any revenue brought into your company at all. I don't know how TNA makes any money, except hopefully they'll make money on commercials, and hopefully advertisers will pay them or Pop TV, hopefully the new Impact Wrestling show on January 5th. Hopefully it'll make some money for the damn network, Pop TV, so they can put that money then into TNA maybe. Because the only, TNA, their house shows, they don't barely do any of them. And the house shows they do, under 400 people show up. And I doubt, I haven't heard any of their house shows drawing 500 people, so I'm going to believe under 500 show up. So they're barely making money from that. I guess they do have monthly pay-per-views on with their one night only series, or whatever it's called. They were running one night only knockouts pay-per-views, X Division, one night only, all this other stuff. Anyways, off pay-per-views, Bound for Glory, I don't know how many people ordered Bound for Glory on pay-per-view. I have no clue. I was one of them, but I don't think even 10,000 people would have ordered Bound for Glory, because barely anybody knows that TNA is on Destination America. So nobody, why would they order their pay-per-view when they probably didn't even know TNA existed anymore when they left Spike TV? A ton of people and smart wrestling fans like me and many others that I know, I'm just saying, smart wrestling fans probably did know that TNA left Spike to go to Destination America. And the ones that I guess don't follow wrestling that closely and just stop watching TNA wouldn't even know TNA existed still. So I was happy to hear TNA does not have to pay this new network to run their show every week, because that would have just been an absolute death wish. And a lot of people could say TNA's already running on a death wish and they could go under any time. Well, they're not going to go under anymore because they got a new network. But you could say TNA could go under in 3 years. Yes, they could, because they need to start making some revenue and some profit, and they need to start bringing some money in. Hopefully this network, Pop TV, the deal they signed with TNA, hopefully they pay TNA every year. I mean, at least TNA can bring in 500,000 viewers or 1 million viewers, or maybe a little bit more than 1 million, now that they're on a new network that's in 75 million homes, more than Destination America was. So hopefully this new network will pay TNA will pay them and pay their costs of them running their shows. Hopefully this new network pays them, because they need some damn revenue, because they're not getting it from house shows. They're barely getting anything, and they're not getting much at all from pay-per-views. A pay-per-view business is dead, in my opinion. The only pay-per-views that sell are Ronda Rousey fights, and that's about it. And maybe some other UFC fights that are big fights. But, I mean, nobody, pay-per-view's dead, except for Floyd Mayweather still made millions and millions on his pay-per-views that he was on. And Ronda Rousey and UFC they probably do still get millions and millions from their pay-per-views. Revenue and pay-per-view buys. And we all know WWE and the WWE Network. This year they made $125 million in revenue from the WWE Network. So smart of WWE to cut out the pay-per-view business, and they'll be getting that money. They'll be getting the $9.99 a month that goes straight into the WWE's pocket, in Vince McMahon's pocket. And they were smart to basically take their pay-per-views off of pay-per-views. And they did get kicked off of DirecTV, stopped carrying the WWE's pay-per-views last year, but it doesn't really matter, because if you're a WWE fan, you can get the network if you have a fast internet. And you can see every pay-per-view. We all know that, for $9.99. As I said, the pay-per-view business, in my opinion, is dead for wrestling. So TNA, hopefully they get paid by this Pop TV network for the next 1 or 2 years for being on there and giving Pop TV their highest ratings, because they don't have any other shows on there that give them ratings. They just show old movies and Dawson's Creeks. That's not going to make them barely any money. So TNA, I predict TNA will be the highest rated show on Pop TV. Hopefully their audience grows and TNA's ratings go up. And hopefully TNA can get up to a 1.5 rating. That'd be great for them, because they hopefully they can hit that number and get up to 1.5 every week, because on Destination America they can't even get up to 1 million. I'm happy for TNA. They got on a new network, Pop TV. It's on DirecTV, and I believe it's on Dish Network and maybe some other cable system. Might be on Time Warner Cable. I don't know, because I don't have Time Warner Cable. Anyways, I'll be watching January 5th when TNA has our first live show on Pop TV, but I won't be watching the World Title Series anymore this year, or TNA anymore this year. I just can't. It's too painful to watch. When I see the World Title Series, and I still see James Storm on TNA wrestling last night, I did this. That's what I did, because it's fucking ridiculous. It was ridiculous. The World Title Series is ridiculous. Hopefully TNA and their creative team steps it the fuck up and does something way better, and basically erases the World Title Series and just starts over from the beginning in January on the new network, Pop TV. I wish TNA the best, and I will be watching January 5th. If it's a good show, I'll come back and I'll watch the next week. But for the rest of this year, I am done with TNA.